Okay, good. Welcome back. Now let's discuss data type. So for this, I'll open a new notebook. So let me rename this file as data types, and then we will connect to the Python server. It takes some time and it's connected. So we already saw a type of data structure in the previous lecture, and that was integer. We define x equals 5, and if we just print this, then you see that x is printed as 5 as it is. And if you want to understand the type of this data structure, this is simple integer type. So let me give a section name integer, and Python uses int, short for integer. We can also have another type of numbers, and that will be decimal type of number. So if I define another parameter or variable, that is pi, and it can be 3.14. So numbers with decimal, these are called as float. So Python has name for float, and that is float with small f, and pi equals 3.14, then any n1 being maybe 12.5. These are type of floats. Then there is another type of data structure. First, let me give this as section name, and another type is string. String is nothing but a text. So if I have some name to be Akshay, so note that I'm giving this text in inverted commas, so that makes this variable name as a string. We can also write number as a string, as a text. So if I have another number n2 given as 100, this n2 will be treated as a text and not as a number. And so again, I can run these two cells. And now if you want to find out the type of this data, in that case you can use the type function. So you have it as type and then brackets, and if I just give type of x, which we defined earlier, it should be integer. So we can see it gives us integer. And then if I print type of pi, then it gives me float. Similarly, type of name will be given as a string. Also, there are two more commonly used data types. So let me write it here itself. One of them is Boolean, and it is given as bool in short. These are nothing but true and false values. So I can create a variable name like is true. Note that I can use underscore while giving any variable name. So is underscore true is nothing but true. So Python treat this true with capital T as a Boolean. And I can also print type of is true. So this prints that type of is true variable is bool. Also, if I have something like 1 greater than 2, which is not correct, so if I run this, we get false. And if we make it 1 less than 2, which is true, so we get true here. So this statement is Boolean type. And there is one more commonly used data structure, and that is a list. So I can have multiple quantities stored inside a list at the same time. So earlier we saw like x equals 5 just has information of one quantity, and that is 5. But in list we can have multiple numbers as well. So let me define it as 1, maybe 2.0 or 2.9, and then 5, and then 10. So a collection of data with square brackets will form a list. So if I print the type of list or type of numbers, this will give me a list. And later on we will see how we can use list, how we can access each of these numbers. For now, I will just tell you that the numbering in Python starts from 0. So the 0th element of numbers is 1. Then the first element is 2.9. Second is 5. And third is 10. For that, if I just put numbers and in square brackets 0, this will print 1. Okay, so the numbering starts from 0. And now finally, If I want to convert any data structure, maybe like from string to float, then that is also possible. Because earlier we defined a number n1 as 12.5 and then n2 is defined as 100. So if I simply add n1 plus n2, then what do you think we should get? 100 plus 12.5. Let me give name to this section as type conversion. So if we run this cell, then it gives us an error. This is type error because we cannot have addition of float and string. So in order to have proper addition, we'll have to first convert this n2 to a float or integer. So to convert it, you just have to give name of that data structure, and then inside these brackets you put your string. So when we run this, this gives us 112.5. Similarly, if I have a float and I want to convert it to integer, so then I will just use the function integer, and inside I can put our float. So earlier we defined pi to be 3.14, and when I run this, this number 3.14 should be converted to integer and it becomes just 3. Note that even if I make integer of 3.99, it's not that this function rounds up the number. No, it truncates it, and then integer of 3.99 will become again 3. And of course I can also convert any number. Let's say n4 is 500, and then I can convert this n4 to a string using str. So str of n4. Let me also store it inside a variable named num. So num should be a string which looks like n4. So when I run this, we have now stored n4 as a string inside the variable name num. So if I check the type of num, you can see it is a string. So these are the commonly used data structures. There is also a dictionary and tuple and couple of more data structures in Python, but most of the time we will be using these 5 data structures. So I hope this helped you, and with this much, I'll see you in the next one.